If your wildlife photos look sharp in some frames, but soft the moment your subject moves, you're probably not using the most important autofocus mode for wildlife. Welcome to Tips Tuesday, where each week we build one wildlife photography skill at a time. Last week we talked about shutter speed. Today we're going to be talking all about autofocus, specifically continuous autofocus, which is the mode that I use probably about 90% of the time for my wildlife photography. So what do I mean when I say continuous autofocus? Basically, when you switch your camera to continuous autofocus, it means that as you are half pressing the shutter button or pressing and holding the back button, whichever way you have your camera engage focus, as long as that button is pressed, your camera is going to adjust and continuously adjust focus. If your subject starts moving away from you, towards you, from side to side, as long as you are pressing and holding the focus button, your camera is going to adjust focus so that it maintains focus on your subject. Now, this is obviously very important for wildlife photography because wildlife is constantly moving, even when it appears still. We kind of discussed this last week in shutter speed. So having continuous autofocus ensures that your camera stays focused on that subject no matter when movement happens. So when should you use continuous autofocus? Basically anytime there is movement. Think birds in flight, an animal that is moving, walking through a field or a forest, any bird that's foraging or moving around on a stick, a squirrel that's eating a nut in a tree. As long as there is movement in your subject or movement on your camera, you should be using continuous autofocus. Now, continuous autofocus is called different things depending on which brand you're using. In Nikon, it's called AFC. In Canon, it's AI Servo. And then for Olympus, like I'm using, it's called CAF. Next week, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into this and talk about back button autofocus, which really improves the ability to use continuous autofocus. Now, when using continuous autofocus, it's important to use the right area mode. For small subjects that aren't moving very much, think a single autofocus box. As movement increases, use a larger autofocus box or a zone area mode. If your camera has reliable tracking, turn on tracking so that your camera will be able to track that subject as it moves in the frame. One tip that I have when using continuous autofocus is to focus before the action happens and even before you are ready to take a photo. What this does is it sets yourself up for success when that action happens because you're already going to gain focus and your camera will already recognize the subject in the frame. This gives continuous autofocus time to track the subject, identify it, so that you are then able to lock onto it and follow it through the frame as it is moving. So the key points: use continuous autofocus anytime your subject is moving or you are moving. It allows your camera to consistently update focus so that you're ready to capture that action when it happens in front of you. Next week, we're going to be talking about back button autofocus, which I use. Just gives you even more control over your camera's focusing and makes continuous autofocus that much more effective. If you found this video helpful, give the video a thumbs up, a subscribe. That way you know when the next Tips Tuesday is released. And it also helps YouTube show this video to more people interested in learning wildlife photography. Until then, I will see you next Tuesday.